We said, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. But you two found each other.
His dog ran away.
So many people leading up to this town hall asked me, how did they become so close? And more importantly, what is it about this friendship between the two of you?
Well, I think it's common interest, common ideals, common goals for our country. We mentioned my war experience. This guy, for 23 years, spent every time on active duty in Afghanistan or Iraq.
And is that how you got to know each other?
We really got to know each other when there was the impeachment, and Lindsey was one of the stars of the impeachment.
There's such a thing.
He was presenting the case for the House of Representatives that the Senate should should decide whether they're guilty or not guilty, and he was reciting a passage where there were numerous phone calls made from the White House at 2 a.m. to try to get a hold of Monica Lewinsky because the word was out that maybe she was going to go public the next day. And Congressman Graham, with the most solemn occasion, said, you know where I come from, any man calling a woman at 2 a.m. is up to no good. I knew right then that Lindsey Graham was the guy I wanted to spend time with. because he's entertaining, he's dedicated, and by the way, his beginnings were rather humble, as many of you may not know, including the fact that he raised his sister after his parents died. It's quite a great American success story. So it's common interests, common values, and
a sense of humor.
A sense of humor. And I just wish our beloved friend Joe Lieberman were here. They would called us Petraeus called us the Three Amigos. Another wonderful person that we've enjoyed the pleasure of his company for 20-some years.
Senator Graham, what do we not know about John McCain?
That you can say on TV?
Yeah, for cable. Say anything.
You know, I think what you see is what you get. There's not the private side of John McCain that is much different. He's cantankerous and be a complete jerk to his closest friends and hug you dearly next. Here's what started all this. John asked me to support him for president. You know why I did? Because he asked. No one ever asked me before. So over that, between then and now, I've been all over the world with him, and the worst poverty. Let me tell you, if he reads in the paper 5,000 people slaughtered, he said, we got to go there. I said, why do we have to go there? But John, to me, has one quality that is really special. He will fight for his friends. In 2014, I had 6 primary opponents from mildly disturbed to completely crazy. John came down and stood by me because I dared work with people on the other side to solve an immigration problem. I'm a good conservative, I think, but I don't mind working with the other side. John was going to be up for election, and I wasn't the most popular person on talk radio. He stood with me and followed me around everywhere I went. When I ran for president, most of you missed it. John was with me. The bottom line is, folks, that the people that he served with in jail will tell you the same thing in prison that I will tell you. He is loyal to his friends. He loves his country. And if he has to stand up to his party for his country, so be it. He would die for this country. I love him to death.
That's a very nice note to end on.
Can I just...
Very nice. Do you want to say one more thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we've talked about some very tough issues tonight, and I still believe in America. I still believe we're the greatest nation on earth. I still believe that we have the best military, and by far we're still a shining city on a hill, as Ronald Reagan called us. And if there's one thing I would urge all of our friends on both sides of the aisle to look at Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. Look at a time when Republicans and Democrats sat down together for the good of the nation. It's not an accident that we have low approval ratings. The American people want us to get things done for them, and we need to do it in a a bipartisan fashion, and that's what we are dedicated to trying to do.
That is a very nice place to end. Senators, thank you so much. We want to thank Senators McCain and Graham for being here, our partners at my alma mater, the George Washington University, and our audience, those asking questions and sharing their stories, and also those watching around the world. Don Lemon picks up right now.
Well, Dana, thank you very much. What a moment to end on there. Very poignant moment between those two gentlemen. We're going to begin, though, this broadcast with some breaking news. The news broke during our town hall with two of the most powerful Republicans in the Senate. It involves new reporting tonight about contacts between a top Trump administration official and the Russians. This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. Thanks for watching, and that's where we're going to begin. The Washington Post now reporting tonight that Attorney General Jeff Sessions, when he was still a senator and an advisor to the Trump campaign, had meetings with Russia's ambassador to the U.S., but did not disclose them during his confirmation hearings. On the phone with me now is Greg Miller. Greg is a national security correspondent for the Washington Post. Greg, thank you for joining us again. I want to just tell our viewers, you're reporting tonight that Senator Jeff Sessions spoke with Russia's ambassador to the U.S. during the presidential campaign, contacts he did not disclose during his confirmation hearings. What are officials telling you?
And Don, it wasn't just during the campaign, it was as recent as September, which was really at the height of the alarm in Washington about the Russian hack of the U.S. election. So it's in the middle of all that Sessions has a private meeting with the Russian ambassador in his Senate office, and just 2 or 3 months later is asked, during his confirmation hearing, did you have any contacts or any communications with Russians during the campaign, and can't remember that meeting just several months earlier.
Yeah, I have the soundbite of that. Let's listen to it, Greg.
If there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do?
Senator Franken, I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians, and I'm unable to comment on it.
So, Greg, he was asked about that during his confirmation hearings, and that was the exchange with Senator Al Franken. He flat out says he did not have communications with the Russians. You're saying that's not true?
That's not true, and he also, there was even aside from his spoken words during that hearing, he had to answer questions in writing, including one from Senator Leahy, where he was asked sort of categorically, did you have contacts with Russians during the campaign? The answer was just a single word, no. I mean, whether, how to characterize, what he's saying and the extent to which it is at odds with our understanding of his meeting, his spokesperson is arguing that he was meeting with this Russian ambassador in his capacity as a senator, and therefore, in his answer during the confirmation hearing, was not being misleading. I think that's going to be a difficult point of view to sell.
Yeah, but I think he was asked generally if he had any contact with Russians, during the entire event. But let's put up, this is what the spokesperson is saying. It says there's absolutely nothing misleading about his answer last year. The senator had over 25 conversations with foreign ambassadors as a senior member of the Armed Services Committee. He was asked during the hearing about communications between Russia and the Trump campaign, not about meetings he took as a senator, and a member of the Armed Services Committee. So is that a distinction to you without a difference, or is this a valid explanation for not disclosing that during his confirmation?
I mean, I think he's trying to imply there that this is